How's it killing, Spartans? This is Wayside from Wayside and Marshy bringing you Halo 4's Midnight. YouTube allows 15-minute clips, so I tried to do the bare minimum. Well, we got the full 15 minutes, so don't be worrying. But what I decided to shoot, what I thought was the hardest part, at least for me, you can let me know if there's a harder part for you, and I can always capture that if you would like. But basically, for me, the hardest part was the very first of the final three bridges or four bridges. The very first one. So this is right when the video opens up. It's basically you take the left path. It's gonna pop you over. It's going to launch you over on a teleporter, and it's gonna shoot you over to this little platform. And as you can see, I died. It's legendary, Midnight Solo. So again, I'm sure you will all die a couple times. Probably more than a couple times. But it's fun. So if you want a little bit of a challenge and you want to experience Halo the real way it's meant to play, not heroic, even though heroic was quite a blast, pretty fun, especially on co-op, then this may help guide you through your troubles. Anywho, again, for me, this part was the hardest part. Not necessarily this part, but just up through the end of the first bridge. The reason for that is you have the most knights. So there's a lot of the big guys. I call them by generic titles. You can call them by whatever you want. But we have the big guys and we have the crawlers, or we have the knights and the big guys and the dogs. That's usually what I call them. And then the little black ops, little cover guys, flying around and spreading their seedlings all over the place. Anywho, depending on what weapons you picked, you'll find that you get the light rifle, which is really good for taking out those watchers, and it's actually pretty good for taking out the knights. When you're playing when you're doing any of the Spartan ops, if you get a plasma pistol, that'll pop the knights' shields off, and then usually a few more shots with a light rifle or any other rifle for that matter, and it will generally kill them. So. And I also picked up the sentry gun, or the auto gun as my special ability, about halfway through the map. It's kind of nice. Like, I tried using some of the other ones, which I can use them, but for me, I thought this was the best distraction. And it makes it nice for the knights, because most times a full clip of shooting them won't kill them, depending on which knight it is. And so having the auto gun out there, it keeps shooting them, and that way it won't let their shields repair. Like that guy. See, pretty good about dodging. They'll run right at you. Actually, his shield pops, so there it goes. You'll see that blue flash, which by now you should all know. But anywho, just trying to show you. So again, most big guys. So really, if you're having problems with this part, just take your time. It's not like some games where it's infinite spawn. You can actually sit back, keep collecting ammo, do a lot of scavenging, looking for the best guns. But for the most part, it's going to be your scatter shot and the light rifle. And so there's some ammo right there. Wanted to show that before this clip ended. And so anytime you need to, don't feel free to just keep grabbing ammo. And so this is upstairs. This is just right around going around the corner. And I picked up one of these assault rifles, alien assault rifles. No idea what it's called. And actually, it's not too bad either. I mean, it's not like you get a crap load of choices, but this is actually a pretty decent choice. So you can get it, and it shoots longer distances. But when I say longer, I'm using that as a very, very general term. So mid-range is more like it. But anywho, as you can see, you can sit back, and this is what I found to be the best. You can cross that bridge if you want to, but most of the time they'll just bum rush you and kill you. So this is what I found out to be the best. So sometimes it's kind of frustrating because you'll hide behind cover and then you'll shoot some more. You'll hide behind cover. See, like that though, when they die, it's always like, yes, thank God, another one down. So like this guy, you can actually shoot him from over here. He'll hide back behind that cover, but all you really have to do is just wait for him to pop up. Here's where it's really nice for the sentry gun, because anytime he pops out, he'll shoot him, and that way you can focus your fire somewhere else, or his shields will pop a little faster. So kind of makes it a little nicer. Again, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but why would I argue with my own opinion? So I'm not going to go there. So again, anywho, this is the worst bridge. I'm just taking my time, throwing out my auto turret, shooting the guys as I can. I have some grenades. I was going for an assassination, and that son of a cow, we'll call him. Don't try and melee them. That's the reason I left that part in here. Is if you go for a melee or close quarters attack, 99% of the time on Legendary, they're just going to single shot you, and you're going to be like, man, that was a dumb choice. And then you kind of have to repeat the process, so it kind of gets frustrating, but part of the game. It's all fun. I don't necessarily like these guys. I like the Covenant way more. I find them a lot more fun, a little bit more engaging. These guys are still cool just because it's, just something different. And but definitely not my personal favorites. As far as the Knights are kind of cool. I like the Knights as far as a little bit more challenging. And at the very end of this bridge is there's a guy with one of the incendiary cannons, and that guy took me out probably 3 or 4 times. So I went through all of this process to get to the very end and get blasted by the incendiary cannon. So just be cautious of that because he'll waste you pretty quick. So when I do finally get there, hopefully not too much longer. If I was a little smarter, I would have edited this out. Didn't realize there was a death before I started doing my audio, and would rather not go back and do 6 more minutes. So you get to listen to me talk. Woo! Who's not excited now? Either way, while you're thinking about this, afterwards you can always check out Marshy's first montage on Halo 4. It's actually pretty sick. Some pretty cool clips, Killtrocities, Kilimanjaro in there, so pretty awesome. And I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I wonder if that guy to pop out. Oh, there we go. And always take an inventory of your weapons. You can always drop down lower if you need to get more ammo. And see that guy hides, so it kind of gets frustrating sometimes when you're like, oh, I just popped your shields off, I just wasted a bunch of ammo, and now I have to repeat the process on you. So again, just taking your time is the #1 thing that's going to save you time, actually. So if you want to rush through it all, you can do that. More than likely you're going to die, and you're going to end up at about the same time. This whole level takes you maybe an hour, roughly, depending on how you're doing. If it's your first Halo game on Legendary, it'll probably take you, about an hour, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how many deaths you have. Again, if you're following this little walkthrough, then it's going to end up being a little bit more beneficial for you, I think. And see, so again, distance. That's the key thing. If I had a light rifle, I would love to use it, but as you can see, don't have ammo. Maybe that's why I thought this was one of the harder parts, just because it was a lot more time consuming. So yeah, see, ran out of my scatter shot, and then I'm kind of like, oh man, I could run up there with my scatter shot, try and kill him, and we'll see what I do. Oh, there's a light rifle on the ground, so there we go, we're back in business. Otherwise, I probably would have charged him, and I probably would have died again. So again, I edited deaths, had to keep it under 15 minutes, keep YouTube happy, and keep you guys happy, hopefully. And so run back, grab more ammo, why not? My shields are down, had to drop down, don't want to die after doing all this. So run back up here, and now let's see what's going to happen. Hopefully we get to finally finish this guy. We'll see. And after this bridge, there's the second bridge. I didn't film it. I did film it. I just didn't post it to YouTube. So if you guys want to see it, let me know. If you made it past this part, really that second part isn't that big of a deal. And really, the very last part, the third bridge, that's kind of like this bridge, isn't that bad. The big difference is instead of the big guys, you just have a crap load of dogs. So again, it's not really that big of a deal. I was kind of freaking out there because I didn't want to die, but yeah, so the bridge after this one, not a big deal. And the bridge after that, it's a mirror image of this bridge. So exact same functionality, looks the same. Only difference is instead of the scatter shot, you get a bolt shot. So if you've been playing multiplayer and you've been noobing on the bolt shot, you get also use it in the campaign right now. So take everything you've learned from multiplayer and put it to good use as you blast these guys. Again, keeping your distance because they will beat the crap out of you. So be cautious. And but anywho, the next bridge after this one, not that bad. The very last bridge looks like this one, not very bad either. I mean, just a lot more dogs. So again, take your time, kill the dogs. I started meleeing them because you can melee them in the face and kills them one shot. If you haven't been able to tell yet, killing them with killing them with a headshot is by far the most convenient way to go. In fact, it's going to save you a lot of ammo. So go for the headshots, and you'll enjoy yourself when you start to play war games. And then the very final bridge, you're going to end up picking up an incendiary cannon, or you have the choice to pick one up. I recommend it. You don't need it, but for the final part, which you'll know because it's the fourth bridge or the fourth teleporter that you'll go over, when you get to that fourth bridge, don't be afraid to use your ammo. You're going to have like 4 or 5 rounds, and there's only 3 guys that you have to kill. So blast away. When I did this walkthrough, or when I did this gameplay right here, it was only my second time playing, and it was my first time playing single player on it. So I didn't really know where everything was or what to expect, so I was trying to hold on to my good ammo for as long as I could, forgetting if there was, some crazy part coming ahead or not. And but yeah, when you jump that final bridge, if you still have ammo, use it, because you'll kill them and you'll be like, wow, this very last bridge was super easy, and you'll probably think what I thought, that wow, this bridge was by far the hardest. So again, there's a guy with the incendiary cannon. He blasted me actually probably 3 or 4 deaths, so by this time I was kind of scared of him. I was kind of like, I'm not getting anywhere close to you, because you will probably just blast me to death again. And so what I went for, what worked for me, is I was able to light rifle him from behind this little pillar. He bounced it back and forth, but again, I took my time, nice and patience, and let's see. Oh, and he dies. Victory for Wayside, which I don't get to say very often, so I'm gonna just revel in the fact that I just got to say victory. So then, this part, this is on the third bridge, so this would be the second one that I considered the hardest part of this level, and this is basically, so right where the shotgun was, I picked up my bolt shot, and then basically I'm going to hit my switch. Again, I would have shown you the in-between time, but again, I only had 15 minutes. I could have made a part 2, but that's kind of annoying for you guys, especially if you can already do all the hard parts. Then there's really no reason for me to show you the rest of it. But again, if you're struggling at it, let me know, because I have it all saved, and I can just whip up another copy and or whip up the other part, and I can show you without too much hassle. So don't be afraid to ask. And again, like I said, this bridge, instead of all the big guys, you're just really dealing with a lot of these little guys, a lot of the dogs. And so I blasted them away one by one, and they all kind of just ate it. And see, so I had my incineration cannon, and I was holding on to it, and I was kind of like, I don't want to waste my ammo. So again, I'd run back down, grab another weapon, repeat the process, and I would have used it right here actually. I would have been not afraid to use it, but I was kind of like, well, I don't want to waste all my ammo, because what if there's some crazy part that I'm forgetting? Because again, this was my second time. So if I were smart, if I would have known, then I would have just whipped my cannon out here, and I would have killed any big guy with it up in this area. Or I would have used my rounds in that first part, because that first part, that first bridge would have been a lot easier if I wasn't afraid to use my ammo. So if that first bridge is where you're struggling and you have the incineration cannon, don't be afraid to use it on those big guys. I would use it in a heartbeat. If you could, I'd save 1 round, maybe 2 rounds for the final, for the fourth part, where those 3 guys are. Makes it a lot easier